Oh my goodness, my friends, I have some shocking information about today's Cricut dupe, and I'm so excited to share it with you in today's video. So I want to encourage you guys to stay till the end because the results on this heat press is shocking and honestly, potentially disappointing. Stay till the end. If you're anything like me, you love knowing all the latest and greatest Cricut products, trends, and all the accessories that you can use with your Cricut, right? Last summer, Cricut released their Cricut AutoPress. And as excited as I was about this machine, it was not something that I felt comfortable actually purchasing, using due to that higher price point for myself, my team, and our consumers here at the Makers Gonna Learn channel. So when we found this beautiful AutoPress right here, I knew that we had to give it a shot because this right here comes in at $218, and we're gonna break it all down today and share with you, is this something that you should look into? Because I know a lot of you out there are very interested in having some sort of AutoPress so that you're not having to apply all of the pressure that you would traditionally have to do with a easy press or a traditional heat press. If you're new around here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and stick around for all of the latest and greatest Cricut videos, trends, hacks, and more. Here at Makers Gonna Learn, we are constantly putting out new Cricut videos and going live every single week to share with you guys exactly how to master your Cricut machine. And if you haven't checked out our membership, it's linked down below, so check that out. And we have a free Cricut Confidence crash course webinar that you can check out absolutely free, linked right down below. Are you guys ready? Let's go ahead and jump right into it. This right here is the Vevor $218 AutoPress. Now, if you're not familiar with what an AutoPress is, let me go over the simplistic idea of having this AutoPress, all right? So since it does auto, you will have to set the temperature and the time off plate. They have this right here where you are able to set your temperature and your time. We'll go into that a bit later. We're actually go test a project and we're going to do a sublimation project because I feel like with sublimation projects, you can find if they have evenly distributed heat very, very well because of the sublimation look. And if it does well for sublimation, it's going to do even better for heat transfer vinyl. Now, what we're going to do today, we are actually going to test a sublimation project for this because I feel like if it can sublimate and give evenly distributed heat, then it's going to work even better for all of your Cricut projects. So when you compare the Vevor to the Cricut AutoPress, they both offer the 15x12 heat plate, which is a fairly large heat plate for most of your t-shirts, sweatshirts, and honestly, quite a bit of your different types of sublimation projects. The main drawback for us with a Cricut AutoPress is that higher price point, but I know from the reviews the people that have it are loving it. And I want you guys to have an option that you could use that is literally a fifth of the price. This is $781 cheaper than using a Cricut AutoPress. So I want you to keep that in mind when you're comparing and contrasting. We also have compared this to our clamshell heat press and we're very impressed. We've compared this to the other types of AutoPresses on the market. And this one is really neat because of the same mechanism as they would have in that Cricut AutoPress. Let's dive into the similarities that this AutoPress has with the Cricut AutoPress. One thing that we absolutely love about this mechanism with the way these AutoPresses are set up is that they're designed perfectly to make sure that you have no shifting of your design, and this comes in very handy with heat transfer vinyl as well as sublimation. You're not going to experience the ghosting and you're not going to experience any types of shifts with your design as you would with the mechanism in a traditional clamshell heat press or more of the traditional heat presses. So when you are looking for something that has a mechanism that's going to kind of go down and then just firmly press in, this is something really nice to consider in both of the AutoPresses. Again, both of these do open up on their own, which is very helpful, and you don't have to stand around waiting to remove it. You can be working on something else and let it cool down and then come back to it and move on with your project. Both of these have the 15 by 12 heat plate that is removable. So these heat mats are removable, and you can see from the auto press from Cricut and this auto press, they are different. You can definitely tell that there's just a few things about this auto press that you're like, okay, I'm paying a fifth of the price, I'm getting a little bit less quality. These just are not branded as much. I'm sure it's very similar quality of what's in it, but when it comes to execution, packaging, branding, things like that, they just didn't do that with this one. So that's just something to be aware of and consider. I'm sure a lot of this has very similar similarities to what's packaged inside of the Cricut Auto Press as well. It's also super great to note that both auto presses go up to 400 degrees. This is perfect, and really there's not many things that you would need to use a hotter heat temperature for. So at 400 degrees, you are pretty much set for most of the projects that you'll be doing in both of the auto press machines. One downfall that we've experienced in both research of these auto presses is that, yes, it's an auto press, but as much as we love that it can be an auto press, there isn't an option to make it back into a manual press. There's so many different instances, from hacks, from using DTF transfers, things like that, where you'll just want to lightly get some heat on your vinyl, you know, to make it weed better, for example. Like, that's a little hack that you can do, and we do with our clamshell, that wouldn't necessarily be available to use with an auto press. So I want you guys to be understanding that as much and as cool as it sounds to have an auto press, it doesn't mean that I could go and just like press this down real fast and lift it up, because what has been designed is to only be an auto press. So if you feel limited to that, of it only being automatic, that you will not have that manual control anymore, I would probably stray you away from an auto press altogether. So unless you are okay with it, or you're just adding to your collection of craft supplies, I don't know if this would be my only heat source, even if it was only $200 or all the way up to $1,000. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of the differences in these machines. The Vevor can heat up to 1-inch thick items, as the Cricut Auto Press can heat up to 2-inch thick items. And that's just due to the trays and how they've set those up. Now, one thing to note is that there's never really going to be things that are over 1 inch thick that you'll probably be heating. Here at Makers Gonna Learn, we love to use heat transfer vinyl on all sorts of material, but if I'm using it on, for example, wood, I would not use an auto press. If you've ever tried to use heat transfer vinyl on a large heat plate, it very well will end in a craft fail. The reason why this is because your wood is textured. Your wood has, you know, it's unique, right? Nothing is completely flat and completely perfect. When I first got into Cricut, I was using a 9x9 original Cricut Easy Press. And dependent on the wood would depend on if I was getting a good result or not with that large heat plate. So again, with either auto press, I really want to consider for you guys to only use fabric, and then you really wouldn't have a need to go past 1 inch. But if you are interested, the Cricut Auto Press goes up to 2 inches, and I'm having a hard time figuring out what I would actually want to put in there to be closer to that 2-inch area. So for me, that's not a problem, but maybe it is for you. A few other differences is that the Vevor will automatically shut off after 30 minutes, while the Cricut Auto Press will shut off after 13 minutes. So again, very similar. They both have those safety functions. They're just set up a little bit different. Another difference that I actually prefer the Cricut Auto Press for would be the way the knob mechanisms work. On the Cricut Auto Press, there's 2 knobs to be very simple, set for time and temperature. Whereas with Vevor, you are using 1 knob, and dependent on if you're turning it to the left or turning it to the right to begin with, will determine if you are changing the time or the temperature. It's not a make or break for me. It's just something that I was like, you know what? It would have been so nice if I just had 2 knobs and I didn't have to worry about perfectly setting it up. And it does have just a slight learning curve. After the 3rd time you use it, you'll have it down and you'll be able to do it, but it's just something to also note. With Vevor, you're going to have a non-stick, heat-resistant Teflon coating. And then with the AutoPress, you're having a ceramic non-stick coating. So those are the two different coatings that the different companies have went with. And it's just to note that we've seen both of them and they both work really well. As you guys know, we use Teflon very often, and a ceramic non-stick coating is great too. So those are just two of the main differences when it comes down to how they've set these up. Another difference is that with Vevor, there is no way to set any preset settings, whereas with the Cricut AutoPress, you can set up to 4 different of your favorite times and temperatures as kind of like a preset. So if you want to have a quick set for sublimation, a quick set for traditional heat transfer vinyl, you have that ability to go ahead and put in those preset temperatures and times, so you're not constantly having to adjust both of those. So with Vevor, you again have that one knob, so you would take more time adjusting it. But those are the main differences about this machine. I know you've heard so much about it and what it can do. I want to go ahead and teach you exactly how to use it, give a full review to see if that's something that you would be interested in purchasing and investing in your craft supplies. Are you guys ready? Let's go ahead and take a deep dive inside of this machine. All right, so we have our heat press right here. We've turned it on. Let me teach you how easy it is to set your time and your temperature for your design. Today, we're gonna make a super simple sublimation mouse pad. So we're going to use the setting 380, and we're going to heat that for 1 full minute. So let me share with you how to do it. Come over here to your dial and knob. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna set our temperature. So we're gonna do a full half turn, and you see that we've set this right here. We're gonna bring it down to 380. And then once we're at 380, we're just going to press, and then we're going to move to the left, and we're going to activate our time. We're going to move that all the way from 30 seconds to 60. Once you're at 60 seconds, you'll press it, and now you'll go ahead and let this heat up. And while we go ahead and let the AutoPress heat up, we will prepare our design for pressing. All right, my friends, so if you're new to sublimation, you have to use butcher's paper to absorb any moisture and to make sure that you're protecting your AutoPress. So what we're doing is we're laying a sheet of butcher's paper, then we're going to lay down our mouse pad right here. Now you can use heat resistant tape, but for today's project, I intentionally don't want to use any tape. I want to see how we will have any ghosting or anything of the sorts with no tape, because that's one of the things that I want to see. Will the AutoPress be able to provide us a consistent no ghosting look even without tape? So that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna have the mouse pad right here. We're gonna now take a piece of printed, it's a photo printed on a sub paper and sublimation ink, and then we're going to lay it right down right here. My tip is to make sure that this can lay perfectly right here, and then lay it down. All right, so for our sublimation sandwich, you have the butcher's paper, you have the mouse pad, you have your image design, and then lastly, you're going to apply another sheet of butcher's paper over top here, and then you'll be ready to go with your pressing once it's preheated. What a change of events for our video today, my friends. I am very embarrassed, but in all efforts of full transparency here on our channel, and the more and more we want to provide you guys with great content, I have to explain. We have had this machine in our studios for multiple weeks. We've been using it, we've had it set up alongside with our other machines, and guess what? As of today, I had this whole project set up. It will not heat up. I've used 3 different heating plugs, different plugs in my studio, and it will not get past 72 degrees in the preheating process. So as much as we were excited to bring you a knockoff or something that is comparable, that could be consistent for you, unfortunately, and I think we're finding this more and more in the industry, when there is something that is $700 to almost $800 less than something that is, really expensive and really good, you're going to have the misconception. You're going to have the inconsistent results. And that's what we're seeing right now. I cannot get this heat press to go past 72 degrees. And I think we all need to be really real about what that does and what that says for all of us as consumers, and what it will happen if you try to make this fit into your budget instead of just getting something like a mini easy press or a regular easy press or a really good heat press in general, because I don't want you guys to end up with something like this and then guess what? You're going to get inconsistent results. It's going to work one day and not the other. That's not something I want to recommend to you. So I was really excited to do this test and like to show you the sublimation result, because we had been testing it and had enjoyed it. But as of today, we can't recommend this. Like, we're gonna have to personally try to return this. And this is not something that we can recommend to you at this current time. If you are interested in another really affordable auto press, definitely check out the HTV Wrought auto press. We have had it in our studio for almost 6 months now, and we're actually really impressed by it. So I'll link all of these 3 machines down below: the auto press, the Cricut auto press, the HTV Wrought auto press. And if you want to check out the Vivor auto press, just to look into it more, I really want to encourage you, as our industry is growing, as there's more brands entering the market, it is the time for each of us to be more aware of all the brands and to do more market research than ever. I want you to really push into reading the reviews. I really want to encourage you guys to continually reach out to us if there's products you want us to test, so that we can invest our time, energy, and effort to find out for the whole community, instead of maybe you having to lose out and be very disappointed. Let us hold the disappointment for you as we're going to do with this Vivor, and our team will go through the process of getting a refund and sending it back, because this is just not up to anyone's standard. Am I right? And as much as I would love to say just go get the Cricut auto press at almost $1,000, I still don't think it's worth it. Can we trust the Cricut name? Absolutely. Do I think as a hobby crafter we need that? Probably not. I've had a lot of people, when I make that comment, say in the comments down below, like, hey, now thanks to the auto press, I'm able to do heat transfer vinyl projects. If that is you, please use it, because you will get the value out of it, right? If you have arthritis, if you have those problems, look into the HTV Wrought or going all the way for the Cricut auto press. But for the normal consumer, you may already have a heat press. You probably don't need to add it, right? There's so many better options for so much more affordable prices. And I just wanted to be super transparent with you guys as we continually are evolving in this industry. We're testing new products. We're giving you guys the truest reviews. I am not a fan of the Vivor, right? Because I can't have consistent results. And I want you guys to know that we're excited for it. But unfortunately, it is still, after many failed attempts and different plugs, it is heated to 72 degrees, which, spoiler alert, is the temperature in our office right now. So my friends, I hope you guys enjoyed. What a unique video today, where I feel like I wasted quite a bit of your time as well as mine, but all in the matters of making really good YouTube videos, my friends. If you are interested in checking out way better videos on our channel, we create and pour into this channel so much. So if you're new around here, please hit the subscribe button. Check out our other videos. We have so many hacks, so many tips, so many tricks that we want you to experience. So check those out. We'll be back with more videos very, very soon. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. My friend, since this was an absolute epic fail, you should go check out my best 20 Cricut hacks to turn a beginner to a pro today. You'll enjoy it. See you guys over there.